Good evening. This is Hunter Womack, Module 10. Think about the systems of care that take part in the family. Discuss care work, housework, and market work. I think that these systems of work are necessary for a family household to function in a proper way. I think that both care work and housework are the two types of work that most benefit the family unit. However, they go uncompensated monetarily most of the time. However, the amount of time that individuals are required to devote to market work often causes the other types of work to be done differently within each household. I think that these situations are dependent upon the types of market work the income earners participate in doing. Cohen states that there are three types of work in institutional arenas. They are care work, housework, and market work. Care work has to do with primarily dealing with the emotional, material, and intellectual well-being of the children in the home. He states that housework is the physical upkeep of the family unit, including home maintenance and paying bills. He then states that market work is actual physical employment for the basis of compensation. My own personal experience with these different types of work comes from my marriage. My ex-wife mainly did the care work while I handled much of the housework and market work. We chose to have her stay at home and raise our children instead of both of us trying to work. This was a cheaper and safer alternative to having someone else watch our children during this time. Speak to the gender division of labor that exists in the U.S. How does this impact the family? I think that the gender division of labor has occurred partially due to the traditional expectation of women to perform certain types of work in the home. I think that this behavior has been translated into these types of jobs and occupations that are task-related to the types of work that this group has been accustomed to doing in the home. I think that this has changed in recent years with the acceptance of these gender roles being reversed and the emergence of it to be more normalized for men to be doing these types of tasks in the home. Cohen states that there has been a shift in the divisions of how labor is viewed between men and women. This has allowed women to become more of a presence in the occupations that have been dominated by males, like real estate and administrators in a healthcare setting. He states that most women are working in the fields dominated by their same gender, like service industry occupations. I relate this to my own experience by sharing how my mother was a registered surgical nurse for 25 years and did most of the care work in our home. My father was the vice president of the mortgage department in a banking system at the regional level and did most of the maintenance work and took care of the bills. This is the separation of labor that I became accustomed to seeing, and that is the model that I chose to take into my marriage. How would or could we start to compensate the labor that occurs in the home? Try to put a dollar amount to the care needs of your child. I think that trying to compensate for work done in the home is a slippery slope. I think that it leaves too much room for an opinion-based stance on how this compensation could or should occur. This is due to the value that each individual places on their own time doing certain activities. I've never really thought about what kind of compensation could or should require compensating housework. I think with adequate discussion in the home, a division of labor could be achieved successfully. Cohen discusses the value that each person brings to the relationship in respect to one relationship splitting the paid and unpaid work almost equally. He then discusses the relationship between one part of the unit doing all the paid work and one that does all the unpaid work. He states that the couple that are doing either one or the other depend on each other more than the couple that had a more even split. In my own personal experience, I felt like my marriage was happier and more fulfilling when we both had jobs and were splitting the housework. After a period when I maintained employment and she was at home, it became a challenge due to the expectations we developed for each other's level of performance and personal standard. I would much rather have a relationship with an equal split in both areas of work. Sociologists have focused on the work-family conflict. Discuss this conflict and who may benefit or lose. I think that this work-family conflict is really a problem only due to the culture of how, as workers in this country, we are expected or even groomed into believing that a certain type of work arrangement is the only way to be successful. I think that it is a good thing that the work week and the hours that an individual was expected to work every day have been reduced over a period. I think that many people go to work because they must do so, not because they enjoy what they do. Cohen states that there are different ways that this work-family conflict has evolved over time. He states that it could be helped by employers being more flexible and providing more benefits like health care and so on. He also states that one way that families are dealing with this conflict is by having other family members move into the household to help with the financial burden as well as the care work. It has not been that until I started my most recent job in my career field that I truly experienced a reduction in my work-family conflict. Not only do I feel like I am doing purpose-driven work as a clinician, but I also have the flexibility to live a life that is fulfilling outside of work. I sacrifice a little in wages, but the balance is worth the cost at the current time. Thank you.